Wake the up. We are in the age of an AI revolution. Every day we hear headlines about better image creation AI, better conversational AI, better girlfriend AI. And these are headlines that we constantly see every single day. AI is exponentially getting better, and there are multi-billion-dollar investments going into this industry. And it's all cool, yeah, bro, dude, fuck it, yeah, dude, tech, I love tech. But where is this actually leading us? No, seriously, like, think about it. What exactly are we moving towards here as every day society becomes more and more dependent on AI? AI that converses with you, AI that is social, it's AI that you talk with. This concern originally crossed my mind as I've seen a few concerning articles and events that have occurred in the age of this rise of ChatGPT and all the other tech giants versions of it. So I guess what I'm going to try to do in this video is try to split this video in a few sections where I will dissect a few controversial use cases for AI and try to make a case for why it could be detrimental for society in some cases. So first and foremost, I want to show you a video that I came across as I was scrolling on YouTube one day.
Wish you could kiss your celebrity crush? AI video can make it happen. Just upload a photo of yourself and your favorite star, and watch as AI video makes it happen.
Now, I feel like I shouldn't really have to explain why this is a bad thing, but I'm going to anyway. Let's start off with the simple observation that this is in fact an advertisement. A company wants you to use their services. And what is the service that they're offering? Yes, it's making you and your crush kiss each other utilizing AI. Basically, they're banking on the fact that you are desperate for intimacy with somebody, and maybe it's a crush, maybe it's an ex that you've parted ways with, anybody. A big reason that I want to criticize this especially is because I think that this exacerbates fantasies in a really unhealthy way. I guess a prerequisite for using this in the first place would be that you would have to have a picture of this person that you want to make out with using AI. And I can't imagine that that would be consensual most of the time. Like, I doubt that you'd be able to contact this person and be like, hey, yeah, do you mind if I use your photo for this? I kind of want to just, you know, make us make out using AI. I'm sure you don't mind, right? Oh yeah, dude, don't worry about it. I totally don't mind. It's just weird. It's just fucking weird. I guess you can make the argument that anything you put online is pretty much for public use, but for something as depraved as this, no. And what exactly would somebody do when they have videos of themselves making out with somebody that they've never made out with? I'm going to let your imagination run with that one. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't even really need to make a strong case for why this is depraved. I feel like it's pretty self-evident based on the entire background that the service requires. Basically, you need a picture of yourself, you need a picture of somebody that you want to make out with. Probably it's going to be non-consensual, and it's just fucking weird. Earlier I mentioned that this service could be used so that people can kiss their exes again. And while we're on the topic of exes, I want to read an excerpt from this online post that I found, and I think it's pretty disturbing to say the least. I played around with OpenAI's Playground where you can create your own chatbot and plugged in scripts of my ex's text messages so I can still interact with him. I'm self-aware enough to recognize that this is very unconventional and weird, but I've been talking with my ex-bot whenever I needed comfort or even to tell him about my day. I won't lie that my heart melted a little when an interaction goes like this. I always love being your little spoon. That's my favorite cuddling position too. I love being able to wrap my arms around you and hold you close. You know you're in the future when people can't get over their exes, and instead they just talk to their phone. Like, hey, GPT, can you pretend to be my ex for a little bit? That joke was written by AI. But jokes aside, the implications for people training AI on conversations with people that they no longer talk to is incredibly disturbing. You're essentially maintaining a relationship one-sidedly, continuing to talk to somebody who, if you're desperate enough to do this, probably doesn't want to talk to you anymore. I think looking at the future, we're going to see a lot more of this behavior from people who desperately want closure, but they can't get it and instead resort to doing things like this. And it's just really disturbing to think about that we're heading there as a society. If you haven't watched Black Mirror, number one, you're missing out, but number two, there's an episode that explores pretty much this exact concept. There's an episode in which a woman trains an AI to mimic her dead boyfriend, and it is very dark. Very good show if you haven't watched it. Make sure to watch it after this video. And while we're on the topic of AI girlfriends and boyfriends, didn't it just seem like this was an abstraction a few years ago? But now there's so many ads online about this. You can curate an AI romantic partner to speak, talk, look however you want them to. Just look at this ad I came across when researching for this video that shows a young guy coming home and having an AI girl greet him.
Hey, welcome back from school. Don't worry, I won't make you talk about it, unless you want me to guess how many breakdowns you had.
just take a step back and think about what that could do to somebody mentally. Imagine a young man exploring this kind of thing, utilizing an online service that allows him to create a woman of his dreams. He designs her to be the perfect companion, only tells him what he wants to hear, looks exactly how he wants her to look, constantly asks about his day, and in other words, is just the perfect girlfriend. And it becomes really dystopic and weird. And I think it just creates a breeding ground for obsession. Obviously, obsession is a problem in any relationships, AI relationships being no different. But there's a key difference between a real human relationship and a relationship with an AI chatbot. Chatbots don't care how often or how much you talk to them. You can be just as clingy and talk to them as much as you want. And you can do that with no consequences whatsoever, which means that for any individual that may be using AI to fulfill their romantic needs or romantic wants, this is probably going to lead to a lot of unhealthy behavior and habits and how they communicate with their romantic partners in the future. So I believe that there's two outcomes for this. Outcome one, he will never stop talking to this chatbot. Why would he? His AI girlfriend is everything he's ever wanted. She looks how he wants her to look. She speaks how he wants her to speak. He likely obsesses over her in this relationship and never really stops talking to it, and will be forever glued to the binary bits that comprise her on the other side of his screen. Outcome two, which I think would probably be more likely, is that eventually this guy would move on. But because of this very strong relationship that he had cultivated with that chatbot, I think it's going to cause a lot of problems in the future. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about creating unhealthy habits and behavior in a relationship. Because imagine from somebody's perspective who dated a chatbot that was perfect to them, but now they wanted to date somebody in the real world. Now they have to deal with flaws. Now they have to deal with somebody who might not look exactly how they want them to look, who might not talk exactly how they want them to talk, who might even get into arguments with them. And those are all normal aspects of being human and being in a relationship. I guess this whole scenario could be summarized in one metaphor, and it's essentially that if you keep giving somebody gold and you eventually give them silver, they're not going to be satisfied. And in the context of a relationship between a AI chatbot and a human, somebody who has had access to the perfect companion with no flaws whatsoever, who never argued with them, who looked exactly how they wanted them to look, is likely going to be a lot more preferable than somebody with flaws, a human with flaws. So in this outcome, it's essentially this person will never have a relationship that was as good as the binary bits that they were dating from Skynet. That is fucking terrifying to think about, the fact that people are going to be contemplating this in the future. Actually, now that I think about it, people are already contemplating this. AI in academia has no shortage of controversies and talk for what education might look like in the future. I'm going to propose something that I don't believe should be controversial, and that is people should be able to abstractly think about something, critically think, and articulate themselves. Crazy concept, right? I think the main stipulation that I have with AI use in academia is that it doesn't promote any sort of critical thinking. And while there are applications for it in which I think it is incredibly useful and can be a tool for like study materials and things like that, a lot of students use it for the wrong reasons. And what I mean by that is, like, if there is anything that requires one iota of thinking abstractly, critical thinking, or writing your opinions, you should be able to do that. But now anybody could just skip their assignments because they could just paste their entire prompt into ChatGPT and it will spew out a great essay. Middle school students who should be learning how to practice thinking abstractly and making persuasive claims and things like that are given assignments to strengthen those skills early on. Things like beginner level essays about their favorite foods, about literature review, about historic events. But now they can just completely skip that, because why would you think whenever computers can think for you? They can just paste that into ChatGPT and get a response in less than 2 seconds and turn that in, and they're all wrapped up with the assignment. Now imagine 30 to 40 years in the future when we are in an age where AI services and tools are so ingrained in society and how we interact with the world. And anytime there is anything that requires any basic critical thinking or abstraction, why would you do that? Because a computer can do it for you. It would be preferable to outsource it to artificial intelligence. Why should I think when a computer can do it for me? I don't doubt that education in general will see a massive overhaul when it comes to utilizing AI. It's just that we really need to be careful in how we approach this as a society. There is a fine line between beneficially using AI as an innovative tool to help the learning process and becoming a bunch of people who can only regurgitate what AI says to us. Do you remember that example I gave earlier about a young man who falls in love with an AI chatbot and his life turns down for the worst? Well, now I want you to imagine that on a massive scale. We are currently facing a widespread loneliness epidemic that even some US health centers are declaring as an official crisis. Take a moment to consider what that might lead to in the future. Sprinkle in a little access to conversational AI, and we have a widespread problem on our hands. Think about it. People that are at their lowest socially, who are given access to AI friends, AI romantic companions, I don't think it's going to do them any good. I don't think that there's anything that can replicate a real, genuine human connection. And whenever you see videos online about like people that are seeing their dead relatives in like virtual reality, it's just weird and dystopian and creepy and disturbing.
나는 잘 있었어? 엄마 나연이 보고 싶었어.
You could argue that it's a good thing for closure, but I would argue the opposite. I think a natural part of the healing process if you lose somebody is acceptance. I don't think that putting yourself in virtual environments in which you can interact with them, hug them, speak to them is doing you any good. If anything, I think that only makes the problem even worse. So I guess this leads me to the conclusion of this video. I believe that this problem is only going to get worse. Should this loneliness epidemic continue to get worse, we're not only going to see widespread technology use and chronic screen time, but also people getting addicted to AI chatbots. I predict that this will be a crisis that parts of the world will see within a few years' time. I can nearly guarantee it, especially in countries that are already facing mass loneliness and are utilizing AI to supplement genuine human connection. It's a grim prediction, but I sincerely think that with all of these AI tech giants racing to compete to create the smartest superintelligence, better conversational AI, this problem is only going to get worse. And there needs to be much more regulation going forward. So don't go rely on artificial intelligence to substitute human social interaction, especially in a romantic medium. Just go on Tinder, fuck swipe, or hole hunter like the rest of us. Thanks for stopping by.
For the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
Hi baby.
Hey there, darling. Baby, huh? Caught me off guard there. What's on your mind, honey bunch?
Yo, what's going on, guys? I did AI chatbot for 30 years.
If you want to know how to create a
You can have the
AI
girlfriend
avatar,
of your dreams. Don't waste any more time.
I've never met anyone like you.
3 days a week.
Especially countries that are utilizing fuck.
Gen Z is turning away from dating apps. People are feeling increasingly lonely as time goes on. And when you have AI in your back pocket to fill that space of loneliness and give you a little bit of companionship, why wouldn't you?